Welcome to Tenacious Entrepreneurs, where perseverance meets purpose and every setback is just another step forward. Join us as we dive into the journeys of entrepreneurs who faced failures, embraced change, and emerged stronger than ever. Whether you're dreaming big or already on your way, this podcast is here to remind you that the end is only the beginning. Stay inspired, stay tenacious, and let's conquer the entrepreneurial world together.
Hey, it's Joey Dupont, the host of Tenacious Entrepreneur. I want to welcome you back to today's show. It's going to be a blessing. We've got Ron Dufour. He is owner of Spotlight Party Rentals, but he's also somebody that's got a lot of history in his life, and he's been through a lot of cool stuff. I'm looking forward to pulling it out on the air and hearing about it. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Ron, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, brother. Absolutely, man. Well, listen, man, today what we're doing on the show is we're just basically talking about real life stuff that happens. I feel like that entrepreneurs so often they feel like that they have to wear this mask, and be perfect. And people on the outside that aren't entrepreneurs, they view them as, well, these guys have it all together and they figured out life, because they say, well, you got your nice car, a nice house, whatever it is that you got, and you've got a business and you figured out. They don't know that you're out at 2 o'clock in the morning picking up chairs because nobody showed up, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't hear all the real stuff, man.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I want to actually go back a little bit, just talk about your backstory, because I've known you over the last probably 5-10 years, but
Time
I don't
flies.
really know your backstory of how did you grow up here? Like where'd you come from?
Yeah, I grew up some here in Kenner, and then I moved to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, when I started high school.
Okay, Bay St. Louis.
But my background is really music, being a musician. I play drums.
Really?
If you want to call that being a musician. Some people don't know.
Yeah.
I played in bands. I went to...
The drummer was always the coolest one, though.
You think? Well, good.
I'm gonna have to send you some.
I think I used to be cool at some
I'm gonna
point.
get you to send me some pictures.
I've been told I
we're gonna
was.
put that up on the screen of whenever you were playing the drums, dude. I bet you got a picture somewhere,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah. I mean, people did like it, but might show that to my daughter at this point, and she'd be like, "What?
Like, who was that?"
Whatever." I didn't quite understand, But
So you were in like a rock and roll band or a country
Well, I
music
mean, I
band, or-
started, the basics. I had a little snare drum and all that, and would walk to the bus with that, and played in all the bands and did the competition, school
Yeah.
bands, and then worked with a little drum corps stuff for a short period, and then when I went to high school, that's when I started with the drum set, and then I got like another drum set, and I made it a bigger one.
how did you get into your first band where somebody was like, "Hey, dude, you're good enough to be in a band"?
Man, I really don't. That's a good question, because it was just me and my buddies. One would play guitar, and we didn't have any money.
I mean, you were 15. You were
About 15. Yeah,
Okay.
about 15, and I think I did probably the top things that I did musically were probably when I was like 16, and about that time.
yeah.
And
You were the average garage band.
yeah, it was. Like I said, we didn't. The big thing I like to think about is that we didn't have any money, and we had the school little sound system that the school would let us use, a little cheesy one speaker with a record player on it, and
Now, this was like 1985.
84, yeah, 84.
Because we're about the
something
same
like
age.
83 or 84.
I was 85 when I was.
85, I was already rolling. I was
Okay.
already playing concerts and all that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I had already finished one little, we called it for the official use only tour, was my first big deal. But back then, though, like I said, going back to the first band, we didn't have money. And like the guitar player, he definitely didn't have money. He had a big family. His dad didn't have the money. He had to like tie guitar strings together after he broke them.
Oh wow!
And
That's hardcore, man.
he did. We did it, and he loved the Beatles. It was, It was all about the Beatles and things. Those are easy songs to play, the basics from them. And, easy to sing, too, I think.
Sgt. Pepper seems like a little bit of a hard
That might have been getting a little bit. We never did that. We focused in on the classic, the original ones.
Yeah.
I remember I Want to Hold Your Hand,
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. The beat's easy. I want to hold you.
It was easy enough for you.
I want to hold you. It's just simple.
Yeah, it's just simple, man.
And things like that. But that led into, as I progressed with the music, I always wanted to be a rock star. It was always my dream. Just always, when I was younger, that's all I focused in on. That's how I met my wife, playing drums. And it just broke into, when I did move back to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And so when I did that,
like at 18 or 20, or
were
you married by that time?
Yeah, I was married. Yeah.
You were married. Okay, so when did you get married? How'd you meet your wife?
Well, Sean's not my first wife.
Okay, your first wife. How'd you meet your first wife?
She's at school.
At school?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she would.
So you got married. You at like young age, like 18 or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was playing in the band and all that.
Okay, so at 18, you married a roadie.
She wasn't a roadie. She didn't help it. I think she just wanted to be around. I don't know.
She just wanted to be around.
She just happened to think this guy looks good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I understand, man.
But
so you got married at 18. You went into. I'm trying to chronologize this. Like you went into. You moved to New Orleans. Did you have any children already, or you?
No. And
when did you have your first kid? Like when you were 20?
93. 93.
Okay.
Yeah. John and I, my wife and I, got married in 90. So.
Well, take me through that. So, like, you're married, you moved to New Orleans, and you said, "Okay, I'm going to be
band,
a rock star."
I wanted to.
I'm going to be a rock star. That's what you.
I've always wanted to be a rock star. I mean, I've always, I never always looked like this, and
You look like the average rock star I know, man. Come on.
Nowadays, yeah. Well, the older ones. Anyway, so. I've always practiced. I mean, one of my first, probably my first official job was making drumsticks for Hot Sticks Manufacturing.
Okay.
And at the time, I think they were the only ones that made painted drumsticks. So every time I played, I had
painted drumsticks.
I painted my own drumsticks. Yeah, because I threw them out, and all the cymbals had paint on them, and because it was never finished. It was just put the one coat, and
Yeah, put the one coat and you're done. So you moved into New Orleans. That's basically the music scene. That's like really where.
I moved to New Orleans. My mom didn't want to be in Mississippi. There wasn't a lot really going on. She wanted to do something better, and so she wanted to come to New Orleans and try to do something better, I guess. And so I didn't want to go.
You moved to New Orleans.
Yeah, we did move to New Orleans, and I kept doing the music.
So you weren't married when you moved to New Orleans, or you were?
I was married when I moved to New Orleans.
Okay,
but then we,
So obviously, you got married young. I mean, you didn't know what you were doing.
Well, I mean, it was. I thought it was a good thing at the time, but
Yeah, 18 is young.
So, but I got out. That band broke up. When that band broke up, I don't know. I mean, that may have had something to do with it. I don't know. But anyway, that's when things changed. So, and then I started playing other types of music. Because at the time in the 80s, it was all about the hair bands. And I had hair back then. And so, and then you think, things changed. And the music scene changed. And you didn't need all the big, you didn't have to have the big drum set and all, even though I still used it. And I started playing other kind of music and playing Uptown.
Def Leppard, Pyromania. That was the
that
first
was
song.
80s.
That was the first song that I heard on MTV when it first came out.
I was in high school. That was first year of high school, I think.
Uh-huh.
But
I remember when MTV first came out. Do you remember that?
We actually did some stuff with MTV.
Really?
They had a thing called MTV Basement Tapes. And we did some a video. It was in Mississippi at one of the TV stations. I think it was WLOX, actually. And sent the basement tape in. It never really...
Never panned out to anything, but...
No, because it never... even though the band was really, really good and all, and they played here, too. We played here. It just wasn't... Just another band thing that fell apart, But it was really good. I mean, I had a bunch of opportunities to make it big. It just never did. There was always something interfering.
Yeah.
It was always good music, good entertainment, good everything. Really top of the line. But it just always something would happen. But And
Well, take me through the point where, like, okay,
Yeah, no,
you moved here
change,
to New
yeah.
Orleans.
right.
Your band fell apart. You sort
Kept
of
playing in different bands. It
started
kept
playing.
changed. So that's why I was going with this. So this is where the transition happened to come to where I'm at now. And the transition was I started playing with bands that were playing uptown. So we played in a club called Muddy Waters.
Muddy Waters.
Yes.
Man, that's the throwback. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Man.
Muddy Waters.
Yeah.
That area, uptown, Jimmy's, which is New Orleans.
Just
For
in case
people
you
that
guys are
don't
wondering,
know, that's New Orleans.
Yeah, that's New Orleans.
That's like classic clubs that bands would play at, local bands. So and they still do.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but we would be on a 2-lane radio station. We would do things. We played a lot. But anyway, that was a different thing. So that band broke up. When that band broke up, the band was paying for sound systems. And I was like, okay, I don't know why, but I was like, I'm going to buy one.
Yeah.
So I got a loan through my stepdad, and then I got like a credit card or something, and we took that money, and we went to, this probably wasn't the best way to start, but we did like Radio Shack mics.
Dude, Radio Shack was the thing, dude.
Yeah.
In the 80s. I mean, come on.
I had a budget, and it wasn't a lot. It was only about, if I remember right, it was about $3,500, which for a whole sound system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I at the time, if I could go back, I would have got like the mics we're using, Shure mics,
Yeah.
That would have been the right way to go, something that's designed for a bass
Well, I mean,
drum.
you got to understand, you're 18, 19
Right.
years old. Like,
Right.
like at this time, like you're sort of 19, 20.
So, yeah, so the thing is, I bought the sound system, so we had to pay for it. The band broke up. Then I had to learn how, I didn't have to, but I learned, you're already in a band, you already know some sound because you rehearse.
Right.
So I learned how to operate it the best I could, and I got lights, and then I started doing sound for bands that would come to town. All kinds of bands would come to town. It was only on make $75 a night. It was like 2 speakers,
Yeah, but you got to be around the band.
I didn't care about that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was already a band.
You're already a band
Yeah,
guy, so like you
no,
just got a little bit of money
It didn't matter. I wasn't into their whatever.
into their stuff.
And some, I know there was one that went ahead to be, decent. So
Who was that?
There was an all-lady band called L7.
Okay.
And they were like alternative. They went on to play Lollapalooza, and I actually saw them, I believe, on the some kind of 80s band tribute or Lollapalooza thing the other night. I saw them on that. I was like, oh.
I was just watching one of those this morning.
I said, I did that, band. I was like, in
That's
Muddy
freaking
Waters,
awesome.
too.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome,
And,
dude.
that led to, and stop me if I'm talking too much about whatever, but that led to.
Well, brother, so the whole
Yeah.
purpose of this is really what we're doing. Like, just have a conversation with me, and we're just don't worry about cameras, don't worry about anything. We're just talking about, like, I'm just getting to know you, like
Well,
like
now
where
you
you grew
pretty
up,
deep.
Man. Like I'm saying, like
Yeah.
I'm not ready to fast forward. I just want to sort of dwell in on that.
Okay, because
like
I
that
can
season
talk.
of your life, man.
There's so much to it,
Yeah.
But
well, but that we got time. What I want to do is I want to figure out. Okay, so you're in a band. Your marriage starts to break up. When did your first marriage break up? Like in your 20s?
pretty
21?
quick. I was only married a couple of years.
Okay, so like
And
20 years
only
old.
because I let it stretch because I was in love with this girl.
Yeah.
But really should have ended it sooner. And I'm glad it ended when it did because then I met Jean.
So how did you meet so Jean is who you're with now?
Yeah.
And how long you been married?
35 years.
We can edit this part out if you get it wrong.
She knows I never get
But
it
35
right.
years. So you met her
yeah.
like in the 20s, like when you were 20, 21, 22?
Yeah, I've always been kind of a showman, believe it or not, and with the drums and all that. And so
Well, the drums are there like to hide behind. So
I guess so,
yeah,
sort of.
Yeah, you're not in front with the guitar leading.
Believe it or not, I was always shy up until I met my wife.
So tell me how you met her.
So anyway, what happened was I had a stage name. Yeah, Vivian Vega.
Okay.
And that was the name of it. So I had two big, people still call me that, old friends.
Vivian Vega, huh?
Vivian Vega. Vivian Campbell of White Snake.
Okay.
He's from, I think he's with Def Leppard now.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Suzanne Vega, who I don't really even know anything
Yeah.
about, but it just
Yeah.
matched. So I went
Yeah,
with
it matched, so you just pulled it together.
So, but we needed, I wanted the bass drums to be, to have the V's on it. So I was delivering auto parts at the time for a job, which was a great job. Didn't make a lot of money, but it was a lot of fun. But, so I asked my friend, do you know anybody that's an artist? And then she called me. And believe it or not, I asked her out just off of her voice.
Come on.
She has a beautiful voice, and she can, and I ask her to use her voice sometimes to, hey, can you talk to somebody? Because they don't
want to talk to me.
We need
yeah.
some sweetness,
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So you met her. She was an artist.
She
and
painted
she came
the drum
in to paint
heads.
the drums at your
Yeah,
first.
she did not like she didn't. I don't know what she really exactly thought, but I know she was not into rock and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
yeah.
is me. I don't look like it now, but at that time, I'm a hard-hitting drummer. I'm playing music from groups like Metallica.
Yeah.
Poison we copied that look with the big stage and all the lights, and we traveled with a big truck full of all this equipment, and she never really got to experience that because that cut off right before I met her. That's when music went to grunge, and they didn't need all that anymore. It was kind of pulled back on all that.
Yeah.
But I was still using it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But the other guys weren't. So, but they still had the long hair, and she wasn't into that at all. And yeah.
So you asked her out over the phone?
She must have been into it a little bit, though.
Did you ask her out over the phone, and she said yeah?
She did. We went out.
Okay. So you went out, and
I think she said yeah. I mean,
the first
we did
date
go
she
out.
said let's get married, or was it
No,
6?
we dated for 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. I don't know why I waited so long, but one day I was just sitting in the pool, and it just hit me. This is the girl.
This is the one.
And I said, that was it. I said, you want to get married? We'll get married. I took it to Gordon's, and we got a beautiful ring, and, it was, we won a lot of money, I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
It's making $5.50 an hour at that time, we didn't have the money.
Yeah, I remember whenever I got, I was 18, whenever, or sometime that age, I think 18 or 19, whenever I got married at 20. And I remember, I thought I knew everything, but I was the same way. I remember I went from a job working for, I think, $7.50 an hour, and I found a job for $10 an hour.
Yeah.
And I thought I was on cloud nine.
Wow, that's a lot.
I remember the guy interviewed me. He was like, so do you know how to be a bindery assistant? I was working for a printer.
Oh.
And I was like, look, I don't even know what a bindery is, but I can assist anybody. If you pay me $10 an hour, I'm your assistant.
Wow.
And he hired me. So back then, man, $5.50 was a lot. $7.50 was a lot. $10 was a.
I mean, I was working another
deal.
job making $5 or something, or $4.85 or something crazy like that, and then I got an opportunity to do $5.50, and I thought I got a rent. This is great. Man.
Yeah, I mean, my rent was $500 a month.
So
it wasn't like I was paying a fortune. But yeah, man. So you went out with her. You 2 years in, you went ahead and proposed.
Nobody,
and said, hey.
I mean, her family didn't want to be. They didn't like me because they didn't know me. They had seen a video.
They saw the grunge, wild-haired, crazy guy.
I wasn't the grunge. That wasn't me. That was just what music was going on at the time.
Yeah.
But I was still kind of holding on to the 80s part of it, which worked good with the other guys with what they liked.
Yeah.
And it just mixed really good. But she had seen a promotional video. Well, she had gotten a promotional video, and she was going to show it to her family. Shouldn't have did that.
Yeah, that was the wrong.
That was the wrong thing. They thought they didn't know me at that point.
Yeah, they immediately thought you were just this crazy guy.
Yeah, well, they got to know me, and they loved me eventually.
So you asked to get married. Did you get married within 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 years after that, or?
Man, I don't even remember that.
It was probably
I don't know.
Pretty quick though. You got married.
Probably.
And how soon did you start having children?
It was 3 years. Yeah.
3 years in. Okay.
Yeah.
3 years in.
3 years in.
And by that time, you've already launched your business.
Oh yeah, the business, I believe, yeah, because it was already going. The first one was called Dufour Productions,
Okay.
and it was just sound and the lighting, and it was already, because we already had the band going, so then that would mean that my wife was already with. It was already going. Everything was already. As soon as the band stopped, the business started.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because you had to.
Unofficially,
you had to pay for the soundboard.
Right, I did. I paid it all back. It was a cool soundboard too, and
Yeah.
I lost it in Katrina.
Oh man.
But it was a really cool soundboard.
But so you had the soundboard. You're working on paying it back. You started.
Yeah, $75 a show.
Dufour
Productions. Yeah.
And then it transitioned at some point,
It transitioned over to spotlighting. I wanted to call it spotlight because I love lighting. That has been a specialty of mine, or was, and I mean I still know it. I mean I know how to program moving lights, and I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty good at it. Moving lights, concert moving lights, like you see at a concert. So, but it transitioned at Katrina. That's when I started spotlighting. And we had some insurance money and stuff.
Now wait a second. At Katrina, that was 2006. So that's a pretty big jump gap, from 88 to 2006.
So the time when I had Dufour Production. So what happened to get to that point was I was doing the party rental thing. I worked for two of the biggest companies in New Orleans. Still friends with these guys. In fact, I talked to one today and one, a couple of days ago.
What was the names of the rental
that was Perrier Party Rental, Jim Perrier. He's still doing his thing. I talked to him. He rented lighting from me today. So
how did you transition from one thing to the other, from Dufour to Spotlight? You just changed the name just because you're just like, hey, I'm going to be doing Spotlight, so I want to change the name. Just okay, so you actually got incorporated.
Yeah.
And became
Which I was warned, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You're not gonna like this. You gotta keep track of every little thing. It's not gonna be good. I was like, oh no, we gotta be a corporation. And Jean wanted it to be a corporation because she wanted to be protected.
Yeah.
And but before that, I want to just say, just for a few minutes, because I think it's important, because it contributes to
the story. Yeah.
Before that, after Dufour Productions got going, somehow I got in. So I was doing the party rental thing, and then I got a CDL license. I was driving a little bit for some companies. That's important to the story, but to drive the bigger trucks. At the same time, I started I was DJing. I DJed for the Rose Garden, which is here in Elmwood area. It's called something else now. I don't remember what it's called, but it's in that little mall over there by Guitar Center. But so that's whoever doesn't know, that's right outside of New Orleans. It's like metropolitan area. So anyway, I started DJing. I started, wow, that's when it was cassettes. When I first started DJing, they were still doing the 45s. I remember borrowing a record player from my grandma and doing a dance with the 45s, and then we did cassettes, and that was crazy. But when CDs came out, wow, that was a big deal. That was a game changer.
Yeah.
But so I was DJing, I was doing the party rental thing in between, and then somehow, and I'm not really sure how this happened, but somehow I got into audiovisual production. And then I met somebody, and that person, which was Corporate Lighting, a company called Corporate Lighting, which is still here.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, that went from something little to something really big.
Right.
So, and I met him, and I started learning, audiovisual, and they already knew was working with bands, and then, well, I got thrown into the mix big time, doing big time stuff.
So tell me about your first big time contract. So when I say big time, you had a $5,000 contract, a $10,000, $100,000.
I don't think it was that big. I mean, big contract. As far as it's kind of a little different as far as going back to the AV stuff, because I hadn't let's think about this. Dufour Productions. I mean,
yeah, something had to happen to where you moved from Dufour to Spotlight, and you had to be like, okay,
well, yeah.
I need to transition to Spotlight because
well,
I've been doing more.
Yeah,
than
so, so yeah, I'm going on with that. Let me finish with the little part that you understand what's going on with that. So what happened was, so I met that guy. So I started AV Productions, which turned into big shows and all that. We hadn't quite made it to that point where we were doing, you could say, well, this is this first big show, whatever. We hadn't really made, big contract.
Right.
It wasn't like that really yet. It was more like going out, doing little rentals, doing little bands, not making a lot of money. It wasn't a lot of money. It was just wasn't. It wasn't at that point. It was almost like, oh, I don't know.
Like, why am I doing this? Yeah.
And so, and then, still almost like a musician, not making a lot of money, but you trying and pushing. And so I learned how to do the bands, bigger bands, and we're talking big band stuff. And then. And I didn't go to school for it. I was learning from them what to do. And they wanted me to learn because they need to make money. They need people to do it.
Right.
But what happened was, what changed things at that point was then that gentleman, and this is and I've been in the right place at the right time a number of times, just the right place. And one thing I will say is that I chose to do something drastic. And if I wouldn't have did that drastic thing, then I wouldn't be here today. And this is something for other people doing entrepreneurs out there. This is a big deal, and this is one of my this would be a big recommendation, is that, so what happened was, this guy that owned Corporate Lighting, whose name's, I don't know if I can say
his we won't say his name.
But anyway, he told another person, another production company, big production company, needed a driver. Going back to the CDL.
Yeah, right.
They really just needed the driver.
Okay.
So the show was at Disney World. They needed equipment to go to Disney World. Dufour Productions was doing really well. And we probably had at least, I'd say, the day I found out about this or was asked about this, I probably had 4 or 5 events going on. So they were like, hey, can you get this equipment to Disney World? I'm like, man, I'm going to Disney World. What you talking about? I love that. It was something exciting that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so, because I like traveling. I've always liked traveling. So anyway, I said, yeah, I'll go. You got another guy to go with me? Fine, yeah. I did the events. I subcontracted out like 1 or 2 events to another DJ. It was all DJ stuff at that time. And so I subcontracted those out. I made the decision to go do it. When I finished those 2 jobs earlier in the day, then I got in the truck and I left.
Right.
And I went to Disney World. When I got there, I was like, whew, I was out, man. I was like, wow. And I ended up working for both production companies at the Contemporary Resort in Disney for this show. And I ended up doing lighting for one, and I ended up they learned that I knew something about sound, so they kind of let me do a little something. And once they knew I was able to make it past that, it was on. And
it opened up doors for you.
That made it to where I started doing, traveling. It was like 20, 25 years of doing, working for Bayer Pharmaceutical and doing shows for Bayer, Allergan Pharmaceuticals, and that's where I made most of my, I made the money. We still had our little company, so when I come home, I would still do that. Dufour Productions in between, because you never know when it would be a traveling show, which was really pushing it hard. That's another thing. I was still pushing it, trying to do my own business, even though the pharmaceutical companies were still I wasn't working directly for them. I was working for the production company that had the show for them. Right. So, but still pushing because I wanted my own thing. I still wanted, I don't know, I've just always had this thing about just doing my own production, doing my own company, trying to make the money. And I just love putting together events. It's just something I love doing. It's not all about the money. There's so many events that come through, like these days, the money, I don't know. I don't pay attention to the money. Probably should a little closer, but a lot of money comes in.
Your wife handles it, yeah.
Well, I'm starting to to take on a little more, but as far as that goes, but she has done a lot, yes. But, book it. Here it is. Here it
Yeah.
is. And it's not all about the money, is what I'm saying. So, but
So you saw an opportunity. I think it was one of the big things that I would take away from that story was that you had basically a competitor that.
they were competitors too.
Okay.
They didn't think of me as a competitor.
But I'm saying like somebody that said, hey, you ought to try this guy, and gave you
Yeah.
opportunity. So that's
Yeah.
favor, really.
Yeah.
That gave you a favor for
Right.
them to say, hey, you ought to try this guy, let
Yeah.
him do it. You went out, you got the gig. That opened up to bigger gigs.
And I don't think many people would have did that.
Most people would have just sat at home.
They would have
and
been
said,
like, "Are you out of your mind?"
yeah, I'm not going to travel for.
You know, I might even thought it to myself.
Yeah.
Or am I out of my mind? Is this crazy? I mean,
For 25 years, you
believe me,
traveled.
when I got to Orlando, I was thinking, man, I must be out of my mind.
I've been in
know.
that situation, man.
Yeah.
I've been in the position where it's like, how am I here to if I
I
don't
think it's just meant to be.
if I play on my cards right, they won't know that I'm scared to death.
I never said that I knew any. I never said
That you knew all the sound and all the
No,
lights and all
no,
that, but they threw you into it and you
corporate through
on the
me.
job training.
Yeah, big time, big time.
So, at what point
And-
did you have your first child?
Like I said, it was '93.
And it was when you were traveling, like you were.
I was still playing in bands. I was traveling. Yeah, we. Well, no, '93. So '93.
You had to be in your 20s.
I was just starting with the AVs, and I was
So that was when you started traveling for
truck.
Jenny, for Disney, and
It was just starting. That's
just
what it
starting
was just
that.
starting, and
So
things
you
were
had your
starting
first
up.
child.
And I was I had already worked with Perrier and all that, and because I remember seeing that. I remember seeing him while I was. At that time, I remember seeing him, and so I'd already had the Pyro deal going on, and there was another
And
company.
your daughter's name, your first child was your daughter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What's her name?
Christina.
Christina, okay.
Yeah.
So you had
And-
Christina.
Yeah,
and
and that was something because I was like,
it had to sort of be tough for your wife to basically raising her while you're traveling.
well, yeah, and I feel bad about that because I've actually had the girls say, "Dad, it's okay."
So how many children do you have?
3,
Okay, you got 3. Okay.
2 girls and
Yeah,
Josh,
2 girls.
Yeah,
And Josh. So
yeah, but they've said, Dad, it's okay. We understand, and I thought to myself,
most people
Man.
don't get it, man. Like
Man,
we were 20. We didn't get this script in life that said, hey, this is how to be the perfect dad, and this is how to. We were just trying to figure out life, and then we had kids.
yeah,
And now we're trying to figure out how to do life with kids.
I wanted to have children. I mean, I wanted to, and like 3 years, man. I was trying. Wasn't working.
That's the funnest time, man. It's trying.
And I was trying, and then one day, she's like, "I'm pregnant." I was like, "Whoa!"
All right, so this is
I'm
it.
responsible for another
Something
person.
triggers, I think, in a guy at least. I don't know about women, but like for a man, like that responsibility level like changes
Oh, it was
when we see their eyes for the first time.
I was happy about it, but it was a little. I guess.
So
it was
how
a
long
little
until you
shock.
had your second one?
Oh, let's see. So Joshy.
No, your second girl. The second one was
Second,
a girl, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm trying to think of how it adds up.
Oh, okay. But I'm saying like they're 5 years apart.
No, it was like 10 years. It was a long time.
They're 10
it was
years
a long
apart.
time. It was a
Okay,
long
so
time.
your first child,
and then
and then 10
Abigail
years later you have the
came,
next one.
and then like a year later, there goes Josh, and we like to say, that was the New York trip right there. When Josh came, that was the L.A. trip. I mean, even I think about it, I went to L.A. with corporate because I was still, even though I was still doing my company, up until COVID, I was still working with them.
Okay.
And actually, if they called, and actually they did call me not too long ago, want me to go on some huge trip, but the problem is, and I really wanted to help them because I feel like I owe them. And they wanted me to do a huge trip for like 2 weeks, and it would have been like a family reunion and getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And I love traveling anyway, and I
Yeah.
really wanted to do it. But I was like, there's just no way. The
Yeah.
company is too much going on.
Yeah.
And I would have to subcontract things out to be with them.
Yeah.
To work as a freelance.
As a roadie. Yeah, as a roadie, like a field
kind
hand.
of,
So you move on and you have your daughters.
yeah, I have the
and then-
dog. I'm still playing music. I was still playing, but it was hard,
But then-
because I was away. And
Yeah.
it was like,
So then you have Josh at what
Yeah.
age? How old were you? How old is Josh now?
Josh is 23, so yeah, and it's kind of a blur.
So when
with
you
these
had Josh
kids.
at 23, I mean he's 23 now, so
Yeah.
it's 23 years ago. I guess Katrina was just 20 years ago, huh? Did we just celebrate 20 years since Katrina?
2000. I thought it was 2005. So yeah,
20 years.
ago.
So, so I'm saying like it was 3 years
Yeah.
post Katrina. You had Josh.
You're right.
And Josh, whenever Josh came around, he's amazing, man. I wish he was here today. I'm gonna get him on the show.
Okay, he'd love that.
I want to see him.
He
man.
told me today. Did I say that to you? I don't know, but I said, "Hey, Josh," I said, "Look, I'm gonna go to the television studio," and I said, I said maybe one day you could come, and I felt kind of bad, but I think he was going to do some fun things today. So I was like, listen, I know you're going to come and you're going to talk about Blue's Clues. And he said, no, Dad, no. I'm talking about Blue's Clues. I'm talking about God, how he works with our company. And I went, oh, wow.
So just so everybody can understand, right?
Yeah.
Josh has special needs, but Josh is like the life of any party he goes to. Like he's always been the life of the party. That's honestly the way I got to know Ron, was through Josh. But Josh, so like, at what point did you and your wife come to grips with the fact that, okay, Josh is going to be special needs?
I know it took a while because I really didn't think that.
I mean, did you know when he was born, or
I think my wife knew, but
Okay.
I didn't know. I needed to be it needed to be proven to me.
Okay.
You know,
So
and
it
I didn't
took you
want
a year.
It's not that I didn't want to accept. I just didn't. I needed.
You didn't believe
I
it,
needed to know.
Yeah.
You know, I needed a doctor to say no, he is autistic. You know, but I mean that's. He's been talking about how he's different. Oh, Dad, I just want to be normal. And I was talking about there's like a new drug on the market or something now.
Yeah, the president just talked about it.
Yeah, right. And I saw that.
Just
So I was
right after
talking
the Charlie
about
Kirk
it.
funeral, he mentioned it at the funeral.
Yeah, I was talking about it.
The next day he talked about it.
I saw something. And he said, Dad, I want that right away. I want that. And I want to be normal. And I was like, dude, it's 1 in 31 people that are autistic. I mean, and I was like, and by the way, I said, man, you've got some qualities that, I mean, people don't have. I mean, think about it with Josh, going back to business. I mean, Josh comes with me and networks. All the business that we have built up in Florida is because of him coming with me and networking.
Thank you so much for being on the show, brother. It's a blessing to have you.
Another awesome
And
time.
looking forward to hearing the good word, man.
That's right.
We're gonna make when you hear the good news, they're gonna hear it across the United States as you're woo. In Jesus' name.
Yes, that's right.
Amen.
That's
Amen,
right,
brother.
In Jesus' name. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to some fun in the future.
Amen. All right.
That's it for this episode of The Tenacious Entrepreneur. Thanks for tuning in and being part of this journey. Are you an entrepreneur with a tenacious story? We want to hear from you. Visit our website, tenaciousentrepreneur.com, and click on the Tell My Story link. If you got something valuable from today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur. Keep pushing forward, and remember, the end is only the beginning. A new episode drops every Wednesday at 7:14 a.m. Until then, remember to stay humble, stay focused, and be tenacious.